Rodeo. Jeff Metters along with Butch Knowles. Ty Murray is going to kick off the saddle bronc riding, and he's drawn a pretty lively bronc tonight.
Well, he has a horse that has recently been voted the rankest horse in 1998. Comes from Mike Sankey, Scholes wild card. Ty's went a little over 10,000, and he's in trouble out of there, though. As you can see why that horse was voted rank. Man, oh man. There are only 5 guys that are left with a score on all 3 of their broncs. That's how ranked the horses have been so far, and it looks like go-around number 4 isn't going to lighten up on him any better. What a great horse.
Well, this may be the first and last year for Derek Clark to be the saddle bronc riding director. Maybe he's done a little bit too good of a job here.
Well, one thing about it, Derek's in the top 15 right now, too. In fact, he sets number 2 in the world, so he has to face the horses he brought here. In fact, we saw one of them dust him out last night.
Todd Hipsag now from Lincoln, Nebraska. Bobby Joe Skoll, a legendary bronc from Harry Bold.
Well, he is. If I had to pick one in this particular pen, he'd be one of them, but Hipsag gets into trouble, and down he comes. So Bobby Joe sat there and watched Scholes wild card dust Ty, and he thought, well, I'm not going to step back at all. I'm old, but I'm going to get this guy. Boy, what a trip.
Just when we think Bobby Joe's getting a little long in the tooth, he really shows us that he's still a young old gelding at heart.
Well, and that shows the great care that these guys take care of these animals. Harry Bold, he pampers this big old bronc because he knows he is worth so much money and such a great athlete, much like Charmaine and Scamper. Great horse.
Round number 4 of the 1998 National Finals Rodeo. Jeff Metters along with Butch Knowles. Another sold-out crowd at Thomas and Mack's. Good start for the Broncs tonight. Next up, Billy Etbauer. 75 points is going to be the score for Todd Hipsag. Explosive Jubilee is the match tonight for Billy Etbauer, a 2-time world champion.
Well, Billy Etbauer, he has not won a penny. He has been on his back 2 times at this year's NFR. He wants to put an end to that. Well, he might be on his back right there, on his knees. Whatever the case, he's on the ground, but it's after the whistle. That's what's important for Billy Etbauer, and not during the 8 seconds. Good look at it right here. Explosive Jubilee from the Calgary string as Billy just has opened up. Todd Hipsag, who barely made the whistle on Bobby Joe Skoll. He is in the lead at 75 points.
And
but
82,
not anymore.
82 for Billy Etbauer. He hurried back to help his brother Robert get ready for his matchup tonight. And here's Craig Latham, another, I guess you could consider him the 4th Etbauer brother. Craig has always traveled with Robert, Billy, and Dan.
In the rewrite department, he still fared very well. Got out of here with
Craig slides in there. Number 5 in the average. He is one of 5 guys that have ridden all these horses. He's had not the best draws, but he's got a good one tonight. Latham on Surprise Party comes from the Sankey string also, and in trouble. Hopefully after the whistle, you can see things loosen up and those swells drop away from Craig, but I think he's in there.
Yeah, I can see Buddy Lytle, one of our Wrangler Pro officials, giving the thumbs up. Crown Royal World Standings coming into tonight. It is a Dan Mortensen show, $139,800. Derek Clark is a distant second. Mortensen trying to win another world championship. He really has dominated the last half of the 1990s. Brett Franks, you see the back number, 26. Craig Latham scores a 76. But they give them their back numbers according to the money that they won in the regular season. Ty Murray, number 1, of course, leading the all-around standings coming in. Brett Franks winding up 26th on that list.
Well, there's a good look at Ronnie Wiggles. These great old Broncs, they know what's going on. You slide in there, they know it's about time for them to have a little dance with you. And, well, they'll get him slid down back in the chute, readjust that saddle, I'm sure, as Brett Franks goes. That's a good horse. Don't let him out. And you see him, when you get on a bronc, you see that foot in the saddle right there. You put a little weight on that saddle for this reason. If you slide in there and just jump in there and he fights the chute, you're mashed. Didn't happen for
going last is a definite advantage, and we knew that we had to be really fast to play, so had to come with the heat.
Boy, you did make it work. Back to the bronc riding. Here's Tom Reeves.
Well, Tommy Reeves has a great horse right here. This horse called British Soot comes from the Calgary Sting. He was ridden one time this year. Kevin Small was 89 points on him at Caldwell, Idaho, and won the rodeo. And Tommy Reeves just makes the whistle. Look at the altitude this horse gets in the air right here. Up, drops away from Reeves, handles that rein. Man.
It was like he kicked it into another gear about midway through that ride. But Reeves right there, he's a cowboy that's won more than $1 million in his career. 86 points for Tom Reeves tonight.
I'll tell you what, that'll break the no money syndrome in a heartbeat. All right, we're back to the kid's horse here now.
Well, Brett Franks will try again on Rony Wiggle's skull.
This guy's a college coach, and every day he puts a game program together as a teacher.
Part of the battle is over. He is at least in the saddle right now.
Yeah, they have the neck rope on the horse. Got him kind of tied in there. Good look at Gary McDaniel right there. Gary, outstanding saddle bronc rider. Just narrowly missed making the national finals about 4 years in a row. Now he's here helping guys out of the chute, and he's a good guy to have. He's a great cowboy. Brett Franks. Boy, he's riding tough also. Number 7 in the average. He's won nearly 10,000. Good control. Good mark out. You see him hold those feet over the point of the shoulders. That's hard to do, especially on these ranker horses. Because you expose yourself. You hold your feet there too long, your swells drop completely away from you. So you want to get things going, but you don't want to do it too early or you end up with a no score.
Trying to beat 86 and Tom Reeves. 78 for Brett Franks. Right now it's going to move him to 3rd place in this go-around. Robert Etbauer next on the hit list. Range Sheep is the draw for him tonight. Robert lives out in the panhandle of Oklahoma, out in Goodwell.
Well, another Ike Sankey bronc. You know, it's funny when they run these pins in here. Of course, this particular pin of horses are the rankest horses in the world. They just buck straight up. Then they run the eliminators in, and then they run the bad ones to buck a lot of guys off. And for some funny reason, Ike Sankey seems to be having a lot of horses in all 3 of those pins. Boy, he's got some rank broncs.
As Robert gets set, let's go back down to Hadley Barrett.
You know, guys, every night I go in the locker room and talk to these people. Last night, there were some sober faces in the bronc riding pen because you know what the horses were. Tonight, everybody was smiles. Everybody liked what they had. And I think it's reflected in these scores and good rides. You know it has to be a relief after what they had the last couple of nights.
A big 86 on the board. Tom Reeves has the lead in the round. Robert Etbauer, a 2-time world champion who started off the decade with back-to-back world titles. His brother Billy helping him there. He's also won 2 world championships.
Well, here we go. Now Robert Etbauer on a tough old bay horse. Robert's got his chin down. He wants to get some money. He's won a little over $1,900, and down that old bronc got Robert. Looked as though things were going his way, but one little bauble on these ranked broncs, and they will air you out. Good aggressive ride by Robert. Everything looks very solid. Real aggressive ride.
Faster than I
don't think it was quite that fast.
A little quicker than I remember it. They dropped the yellow
wonder
flag.
He got him off. He was really fast.
No score for Robert Etbauer. Now to Ryan Mapston, another cowboy that's been pretty dominant here at the national finals. Had some big NFRs, but not this year. In 10 rounds a year ago, he made $51,000. So far after 3 rounds here, not a check.
Yeah, but there's still about $80,000 sitting there he could win. He could change that in a hurry. Here's a good bronc. This horse, they win a lot of rounds on it, and he's a good one. Jump and kicks, not difficult to ride, but if you're very aggressive, you can be in the high 80s on him, and that's just what Ryan Mapston did. That's the way you want to have it happen when you're only 1 for 3 at the national finals. You want to come and get him and go around number 4. Super ride for Mapston.
Well, it was the runner-up to Dan Mortensen a year ago. Qualified for this national finals in the bottom holes, 14th, and really hasn't done a very good job in terms of trying to climb out of there. Ryan Mapston tonight, 82 points. And that's going to put him in a tie for 2nd place with Billy Etbauer, 86, and Tom Reeves, still the cowboy to beat. Rock Warren, he rode very well last night. He's made a little over $12,000.
Well, Rod having a little trouble down there in the chute on old Hot Toddy. Hot Toddy comes from Washington, the Big Bend Rodeo Company. We watch Robert.
Rod still getting set. We'll move to Jess Martin. Jess is from Dillon, Montana. Zippy Delivery. This is another bronc from north of the border.
You know, the first time I remember Jess Martin, he came to Pendleton, Oregon, and I've talked about this story. I don't know where he was up until this point, but he won that rodeo, and this was the horse he won the short go on right here. This great Canadian bronc, Zippy Delivery. He won a go-around last year on this horse at the national finals. Down through the arena we go. Maybe not the strongest trip I've seen this horse have. He's still an outstanding bronc, but he covered a little ground when you're trying to catch guys like Tommy Reeves, Ryan Mapston, Billy Atbauer.
Martin's 28 years old. I like his style and I like his attitude.
Yeah, he's got a super attitude. He's not afraid of nothing. He gets on every night with the idea he's going to win first. 78 points. He did his part.
Jess Martin with a 78. We move to Rod Warren now. Seems to be set on Hot Toddy.
Well, Rod Warren, they're putting the pressure on him a little bit. He's splitting first and second with fellow Canadian-Australian Glenn O'Neill in the average. Warren's won a little over $12,000. This is a good draw right here, but you've got to get by him. He's a little tricky to mark out of the chute. See him leaning in there. Ty Murray was winning third in the average. He came down. So here we go. Big Rod Warren gets things going. As I mentioned, this horse is a little empty. Brings his head up right when you want to set your feet as he gets Rod Warren into trouble there. He's there when the whistle is blown, so he's going to at least qualify now on all four of his broncs. Good look at it right here. Hot Toddy gets things going pretty good, but then if you're a big bronc rider, this horse isn't very big to begin with, and he bucks with his head up. It's pretty tough to make a real classy ride, but at least he gets the score.
Well, as Butch mentioned, not pretty. He's going to score 62, and they're going to give him the option for a re-ride.
That's good. That horse just did not fit in this pin of horses, so Rod Warren's going to get another shot at it.
No re-ride for this guy. Tom Reeves has the lead with an 86. As we move now to Rod Hay from Wildwood, Alberta. Copenhagen Desperado from Corco is the bronc. Here's a guy that's a 5-time Canadian champion. Rookie of the year back in 1989.
Well, Roddy Hay jumped out and missed his horse out in the first go-around. He came back and won the second go-around. He placed in the third go-around. Now that horse reared right down the chute. I don't know if Roddy had him marked out, but I think they're going to give him a free roll because he kind of got fouled there. Boy, he is making a statement. He is riding so tough. Oh, man. Well, that's after the whistle. That's the smile we expect him to have. Great ride by Roddy Hay.
Tommy Keith helps him up.
Now see, the horse rears up, gets right down the chute on him. Well, you couldn't see it from that angle, but he did hit the chute gate as he came out. I think he did get the free roll.
Now, let's get us an international score for our Canadian clip. 80.
Well, 81 is the score for Rod Hay. He breaks into the 80s. Good enough right now for 4th place. Crown Royal World Standings after 4 rounds in the team roping. We'll start with the headers. Speed Williams still has the lead, 84,000. On the heeler side, his partner, Rich Skelton, also number 1. Here's Glenn O'Neill, Water Valley, Alberta. He won go-around number 3 last night. Scored 84 points. 84 would move him into 2nd place tonight. Needs to beat 86 if he's going to catch Tom Reeves. He's a guy that can do it.
And another Ike Sankey bronc. Boy, you better hang on when you go to Ike Sankey's rodeos. And Glenn O'Neill needs to hang on. He's splitting the go-around, or splitting the average title. He's got to make the whistle in the go-around. He does that part. Boy, another guy that is just really coming uncorked. 4 for 4 down on the ground. That's a good feeling because a couple times during that ride he could have hit the ground just as easily.
Well, he's kind of made it a habit to break $100,000 in the season. He's already up to almost 83,000.
Where you see him getting lifted up out of there, he just lifts on that rein, gets set back down, set those feet, hang on, wait for the next jump. 77 points.
He's kind of holding that riding arm there. 77 the score for Glenn O'Neill.
I think he must have hit his funny bone somewhere during that ride.
Here's Red Limmel from South Dakota. He would be my runner-up to Shot Branham in the most cowboy-looking qualifier at the National Finals Rodeo.
Yeah, Red Limmel, he definitely is all cowboy. There's no doubt about that. He's having an outstanding year riding broncs. He got bucked off in last night's go-around. He's won a little over $8,000. He's in there at $85,000 plus for the year, number 3 in the world.
And probably in the last 10 years, recognized not only for his bronc-riding ability.
Trying to get that old bronc to stand square. You see him bringing his head around. What he's doing, that horse is leaning against the back of the chute. So you bring the head around towards the way he's leaning, it'll make him square up. But these big old broncs, they weigh in at about 1,500 pounds. You don't move them very often. Look at this, though. Red Limmel, big, long, high jumps. Limmel, perfect form, toes out, sets his feet. Beautiful ride by Red Limmel.
His only other appearance at the National Finals Rodeo came back in 1993, where he had to survive the last weekend at the Cow Palace to squeak in. Good year here, though, qualified for this National Finals. Number 3, another look at this great form.
Good form. Look at that. You know, and you look at bronc riding, and you do judge on style. Red's got great style. Lifts on his reins, sets his feet. Every single jump, this big bay horse never weakened. 83 points. Put him in there number 2 now, ahead of Ryan Mapston and Billy Edbauer.
Well, if you came out of retirement, would this be the pin that could lure you back into the National Finals?
Nope. I'm still waiting for the Shetland pony pin. But I tell you, it's exciting to see great broncs out like this. And here we go with Derek Clark in trouble. Bucked off and go around number 3. Bucks off and go around number 4. Well, he can't blame anybody but himself. He brought all these horses here, at least had the biggest share of doing the picking. But I admire Derek. He's not afraid to get on ranked horses. He likes it.
Well, he won go around number 1 here with an 80-point ride. No score, though, for Derek here in round number 4.
Boy, what a great bronc. This horse, Firecracker from Kessler Rodeo Company. Derek just snaps his finger and says, well, maybe I shouldn't have brought him.
Dan Mortensen now, Manhattan, Montana. He's won 4 of the last 5 World Championships. Well on his way to number 5.
And another Sankey bronc. This horse 2 years ago bucked Mortensen off so quick at the Pendleton Roundup in the short go that Dan didn't even know which way he went. He'll make a move on you right out of there, but after that, he's just good. Dan Mortensen knows he needs to be 87 points to take the lead, and he is going after Dunny. Well, that's a typical world champion ride for an outstanding saddle bronc rider. Tommy Reeves going, well, what do you think? Did he get me? Well, I don't know if he did enough to get Tommy Reeves. Mortensen, though, feels very good about his performance.
Well, we focus so much on his bronc riding, we kind of forget that he also won the all-around world championship a year ago.
Yeah, that's right. You know, he jumped out, placed in the bull riding, got enough to qualify for the all-around, and enough to win the go-around and go around number 4 with 88 points, an arena record, or at least he